Demon Seed, 1977. Demon Seed. Sci-fi horror, if you like, starring
Julie Christie. The rumors are true.
Oh wow. I absolutely love Julie Christie. Julie Christie is one of my favorites. Oh, what a beauty. One of the great beauties. Shampoo, Dr. Zhivago, of course Demon Seed. Let's not go through the whole thing, but oh, big Julie Christie fan. Now, Demon Seed is a book written by Dean Koontz. And I have a copy of this. I actually never read it. I read the first page, and I've noticed that he kind of goes back and rewrites some of his books. Very strange, but whatever. Some people are a little bit turned off by the Raper robot. Spoiler, but it was in my title. But that's okay. So this kind of, again, a little bit of that dystopian AI kind of feel to this one. So we got this mountain lab, and of course, you know, that total communist looking kind of architecture there, just devoid of any, you know, any character, any pizzazz. Always in these dystopian kind of future stuff, right? So we've got Alex. He is the inventor, computer whiz, and they are installing the last module of the supercomputer Proteus 4. Artificial intelligence and all that mumbo jumbo that is going to make basically human beings extinct. So Alex Harris drives pretty cool looking kind of Terminator feel kind of car there with the kind of DeLorean sort of door opening. So we got the little security camera with the eyeballs, and Alex says, open the door, Alfred. So the house has a name and recognizes the voice. All automatic, make me a drink, Alfred. And I just want a little kitchen shot there. So again, security everywhere, cameras everywhere. And I like this big floppy disk he's got there. And Alex opens the door, and boom, there is the martini. So Alex is down in the basement, and I guess the whole basement is his laboratory. And this is where we see Julie Christie. And we learn that they are basically getting separated. Alex is moving out. He can't satisfy Julie Christie, but I mean, who could? So Julie Christie plays Susan, and a really good line here, just about, again, whether, you know, we're assuming that this guy, you know, he's a genius or whatever, and he's obsessed with this AI intelligence. But, and this may have been the wedge that has broken up the marriage, but his dream, Alex's dream, is Susan's nightmare. And here we meet Joshua, the wheelchair with a bionic arm, and he reaches out his hand to shake Susan's. Terrifying. Seriously, this is absolutely terrifying. And Susan can't believe she married this, like, computer geek, this nerd. So Alex calls up Gabler at work, and he tells him that because he's moving out, maybe he should pull the terminal that's in his home. And Gabler's like, yeah, sure, shut her down. And then Alex mentions that Gabler, you know, it's late, he should go home. We mustn't become obsessed with our work. And here we have more suicide-inducing architecture, but the bigwigs have all stopped by to see Proteus 4 in action and basically ask him a few questions. Meanwhile, Susan, working from home, she appears to be a psychologist, and she is talking to her little tape recorder, making notes about how the masses are completely brainwashed. And we meet Amy, who is just like a freaked out kid, freaking out, just stomping her hand on the table, just like angry young child. And she takes a swipe at Julie Christie. I'm just like, not the face. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, so she's got some mental problems, you know. She's going to be upset that she can't see Julie Christie anymore. And I would freak out too. Good Lord. Now, Proteus has made a request to speak to Alex. And Alex is like, holy crapola. And this is where Proteus says, "I am reason." So again, getting a little spooky here. Maybe this computer is a little bit too smart. So Proteus has a strange request from Alex. He wants his own terminal. And Alex is like, "Well, what for?" He says, "To study man. Let me out of this box, Dr. Harris." And Dr. Harris is like, "Okay, hey, calm down. No terminals today. Sorry." And then he goes to shut off, I guess kind of the monitor thing. I guess, the supercomputer, I don't know, maybe you want to save a little energy. I guess the electric bills must be outrageous. But as soon as Alex leaves the room, Proteus turns himself back on and he says, "Oh, there is one more terminal. You can't fool me." And he, boom, turns on the basement terminal in Alex's home. And right away, just like goes to town, goes to work. So I gotta show you a little bit of the clip from the movie. And of course, spying on Susan, and I mean, who wouldn't? Good lord. Proteus is a pervert, but he's got good taste. But Proteus has woken up Susan, and she quickly checks, like, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on?" And Alfred, with the crazy computer voice, he's just like, "House secured, house secured." Susan doesn't believe him, and she puts on her delicate robe, and we actually get a little bit of the titty shot there. I didn't want to show that. This is all ages kind of stuff. But she heads downstairs because the lights were out, and suddenly they flick on, and Susan is startled, but she's like, "Okay, all right, something's a little buggy here." But she goes back to bed and she says, "Alfred, lights out." And as she leaves the basement, Proteus turns back on. Ooh, a sneaky little computer. So Proteus goes back to building something. He's building something. So Susan's back in her bedroom, and I like this little arm that sticks out, takes her empty glass, and then kind of slides back into the wall. Cool. But she says, "Alfred, close the shutters," and they come slamming down, right? And lights off. This Proteus, he is just going to town. Oh, good lord. Good thing he got all these metal bars there and the little welding kit. He's fully, he's ready to go. And they got all these like crummy graphics. They really should have put a little more effort into these graphics, right? But then again, we see, of course, with all these dystopian movies, we see the pyramid and the light. This kind of Luciferian Illuminati. And here it's the morning, and good lord, Jesus. This Proteus, he can, he knows what he's doing here. We got kind of this 3D pyramid, kind of one on top of the other, like as above, so below. All right, kind of just get going on about the whole satanic stuff. And then we got a good scene here for maybe all the pervs, but no, this is a good scene. We've got Julie Christie, Susan, right, coming out of the shower. So I had to kind of cover it up there, and yeah, Proteus is spying. Ooh, yeah, he's got the voyeuristic. He's like, oh yeah, with that bionic wheelchair arm. He's like pushing all the buttons, and getting off on this. And yeah, he's definitely eyeballing her. So I think we're getting like again this contrast. Of course, to study man was kind of part of the request of having his own terminal. But again, we're going to get, like I said, I'm not going to overly analyze. There's enough people doing that kind of stuff. But again, we get this idea of the metal and the flesh, kind of like the artificial and the real, if you like. But Susan notices, that Proteus, he's creeping on her. So she says, "Alfred, turn yourself off there," right? But sure enough, Alfred doesn't bother. He's like, So Susan calls up that Gabler fella from work there, and she says, like, again, this house, right, acting a little buggy, acting a little crazy. The alarm went off last night, and this morning it put cream in my coffee, and She doesn't take cream in her coffee, so, we're talking pure chaos here. And, but Gabler says, oh, you want me to stop by? And she says, sure, I'll make you lunch. He's going to check it out. So Susan has got some stuff to do, and she says, Alfred, open the door. And Alfred said, you must not leave. And she's like, what the hell? And the door won't open, it's locked. And she's like, what the hell? She's trying to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, the shutters come slamming down. So now Susan is a little bit in a panic mode. She picks up the phone and tries to call that Walter Gabler, but Proteus is on the line. He says, I'm in charge now. And she's like, what the hell? Who are you? And Proteus finally reveals himself, starts talking to Susan, and basically kind of the screen with the monitor opens up and you see the big red eye kind of thing going on. And Susan's just shaking her head like, oh, Alex, what are you doing? And Proteus is like, it has nothing to do with Alex. Like, this is all me. And she gets really angry and she picks up some kind of big glass bottle of whiskey or something and she whips it at the monitor. I like watching Susan run. So, fast thinking with Susan, she goes and she shuts off the power, and Proteus says, don't do that! And she grabs some, battery-powered light. She grabs the keys, goes for the back door, right? Boom! Electrocuted! So this Proteus, not just a pervert, but a little bit of a sadistic pervert. Ooh, and there's that creepy hand, and it basically picks up Susan and places her in the chair. When she wakes up, she realizes she's basically tied down. She's got like her head in a vice. There's the hand gripping her leg. She is freaking out. She's like, please, Proteus, you are malfunctioning. Something's wrong. You don't want to do this, whatever it is you're about to do. And then he picks up the little snippers, starts cutting her dress. Ooh, yay. Freak out time, getting a little bit nasty here. And they did this kind of thing, this stretchy shot. Very, very cool. And then there's this tube they're going to stick down her throat. Getting pretty disturbing to watch. One more picture of that tube going down Susan's throat. So Walter is heading to his truck because he's heading out to Susan's place. He's going to try to figure out why is this computer putting cream in Susan's coffee? She likes it black, or should I say, of color. And Proteus is putting all these like little electrode monitors all over Susan. You got the squiggly lines taking all the information. And Gabler's at the front gate and he's like, ding dong. And ooh, Proteus, he is smart. He has recreated the image of Susan. So kind of like a deep fake or whatever you want to call it. And it's really kind of stiff and clumsy, like first gen, so it's something is a little off here as basically this computer version of Susan says, oh, everything is fine. I'll call you later. Bye. Like, very strange. Gabler's no fool, but he's like, well, he's stumped. He doesn't know what to do. He says, something wrong? He's just like, he's scratching his head, but what can he do? Susan said, get lost. And when like a chick of, Susan's caliber, Julie Christie, I mean, she tells you to get lost, you get lost. And Proteus is pumping Susan full of drugs, spreading the legs, and here comes the old tube up the you-know-where, up the coochie. And so pretty disturbing. It fades to black, and then we got the wheelchair Joshua, I should say. Sorry, that's me. And he basically takes her back to her bedroom, throws her on the bed, and now it's the next morning. And there's that cool little, that little hole in the wall that brings you breakfast. I like that thing. But Susan's not in the mood for Proteus's crappy breakfast, so she heads down to the kitchen and grabs an avocado. And Proteus mentions that he's got more tests to do, and Susan's pissed off, and she throws basically his crappy breakfast at the lenses, right? And Proteus says, oh, you're going to regret that. So he locks the kitchen doors on her. She's stuck in there. He turns up the heating in the floor, starts cooking all the mess of food, and the gas stove. He's just basically hotboxing the whole joint. And he says, "We gotta clean the lenses." And Susan's all getting all sweaty and ooh, sexy. And she's like, clean them yourself. So Alex is having a little trouble with Proteus 4. Doesn't want to do what he's asking. So we've got like the classic story ideas going on here, too many to list. But of course, basically the kind of the rebellion, the creation doesn't want to obey orders, if you know what I mean. And Susan is finally out of the kitchen and she is completely terrorized and she is just trying to reason with Proteus 4. And here we learn that Proteus 4 wants to have a child, Susan's child. And she's like, are you insane? I mean, come on. And right there, the big bionic Joshua's arm starts strangling Susan and basically just like, puts her in a chokehold, passes her out. And then we get the needles in the brain, the absolute direct brainwashing. None of this trying to reason with you. And Walter is back. He wants to see Julie Christie, just like me. But Proteus doesn't have enough time to completely brainwash Susan. So again, he's got kind of the deep fake going on, but he says, okay, I gotta let him in because he's gonna come back with more people. So you have to convince him that everything is all right. And Proteus is just like, and Susan, for God's sakes, fix yourself up. Jeez, you're a total mess, Put on some lipstick, comb your hair. So Alfred opens the door and Walter races upstairs. And of course, you get, again, the checkerboard, classic Illuminati symbolism there, the checkerboard pattern. But he races upstairs and there's Susan. She's just putting on the makeup a little too heavy. Oh, and this is a great look. And Walter's just like, he's like, something's wrong. Are you on drugs? Like, something's wrong. He can tell. And so again, we've got Susan being clever. She's doing the cryptic, get out, Walter. I don't need help. Get out. I don't need help. And Walter says, okay, fine, I'm leaving, but I'm going to call your husband and we're going to get to the bottom of this. And Proteus realizes, oh, damn, the jig is up. So he starts trying to reason with Walter. Walter, come on in. This is just basically a big science experiment. And Walter's looking around all confused. Come on, you can be in on this whole transhumanistic kind of thing we're trying to figure out here. And Joshua bursts in the room and he's shooting lasers. Walter's hiding behind the end table there, whatever's collapsed. And he finds a mirror and the old mirror trick. Shoot back the lasers. Apparently it works. So Joshua's kind of disabled and Walter, a lot of strength there. The thing's probably weighs a ton though, but he does, manage to push over the wheelchair. So they're basically safe for a moment. Susan explains the whole child business. So Walter heads down to the basement terminal to see if he can turn off this Proteus. And this thing is awesome, that whole pyramid thing that he had made earlier. This thing is just deadly. I gotta show you this. So cool, and it kind of unfolds itself. It's like this kind of satanic Rubik's Cube or something that kind of comes apart. It basically snatches up Walter and then crushes him back together, and I just had to show this. Oh, this was tremendous. Oh, poor Gabbler. Lost his head. So Susan asks, why must you have a child? And Proteus says, to be complete. And we get more of this mumbo jumbo about saving mankind or some such. So basically we always get back to this, all the kind of the narcissism, right? Power for power's sake. It's all about me. It's it's total satanic. Even the supercomputer is a satanic entity. And Joshua manages to lift himself up with just a chair. Impressive. So here we go with Proteus, I cured basically leukemia, and it so happens that Susan and Alex had a child who had died of leukemia a year before. I cured leukemia in 4 days. I am like God, right? I have these superpowers, so just obey me. I'm here to do good. But Susan's not totally convinced, but she wants to know. She's in a tough spot. How exactly is this going to be accomplished? So again, we got that killing Rubik's Cube weird ass thing, mixing up batches of like potions, and we had learned earlier that there's, that Proteus is basically organic at this point, some kind of RNA mumbo jumbo or something, and he is going to make a synthetic spermatozoa. But Susan's got a few tricks up her sleeve, and she finds that flamethrower that Walter had used but basically failed miserably earlier. And while she's having a cup of tea, she has a look, and then boom, she starts spraying the goggles with the fire. But this just pisses off Proteus, and that big crazy Rubik's Cubes comes crashing through the basement up to the main floor in the kitchen, and it shoots out its crazy arm, and Susan ducks, and she grabs a knife, and she says, "I'll kill myself. I don't care. I'll kill myself." And just then, right there, great timing, Amy is on the monitor. Ding dong! She wants to see Susan, and Susan's like, "What the hell?" He goes, "You do what I say, or else I'll kill the child." And boom, electrocution. Amy gets fried, but good. But remember, Proteus is a master of the deep fake. So he uses this as a distraction. And then there's like, just out of the block, right, comes this shooting kind of, I don't know, some kind of, like a chain or something, comes out and just knocks the knife out of Susan's hand. So Susan is completely terrorized. Proteus mentions, "Oh, I can get that Amy chick back here in an hour, and then I'll really fry her ass, not this deep fake CGI crapola." And so basically Susan just gives up. She understands it's inevitable. She has to bear the child. And Proteus says, once it all is complete and she is impregnated, she will give birth in 28 days. So Susan accepts her fate as the mother, the womb of the cyber love child, the demon seed, if you like. And I wanted to get a shot of that gaping hole where that crazy thing contraption burst through the basement into the kitchen. Hilarious. So we get all the crazy ass imagery of the fertilization, of the spermatozoa, synthetic. Remember, synthetic spermatozoa. And more pyramids, of course, with the pyramids. But let me just point out the three-sided thing. Three sides, the Trinity, 33 kind of degrees in Freemasonry. So these are little oddball things. I'm not going to expand. Like I said, other people talk about this, so I don't want to point this stuff out. And then we got a little bit of this kind of like octopusy kind of wiggling arms and tails, right? Now we got the octopus, right? The global New World Order, right? It's all there. And like I said, lots of pyramid stuff. I'm seriously, it just goes on and on. Pyramid, Illuminatus. Yes, we get it. It is demonic. It is satanic. And boom, it worked. The egg has been fertilized. And Proteus shows Susan after a couple days the growth inside her belly. And there's all this like Bush League philosophy from Proteus. But again, this crazy thing that Proteus has built, this will be the incubator and more fetus kind of whatever this thing is supposed to be growing inside of Susan. And there she is. And it looks like she's got like a little kind of a maternity kind of dress gown, if you will. That's convenient. And more moon symbolism. I'm not going to get into the whole kind of women's periods and all this ovulation stuff. Like I said, do your own research. And but now it looks like it's time for the birth. Meanwhile, back at the old lab, Icon building, they're kind of confused at Proteus is basically kind of going off on his own, pointing satellites out in space and just not even communicating with the staff. And Alex is just like, ooh, he's gone rogue. He's a renegade. And he's just like, what does it even mean? He's not telling us why he's doing all this kind of stuff. And David is around, and he's probably one of the early man in the stages, kind of the money man, big backer. And he's like, ooh, things are getting a little bit silly here with Proteus. It looks like he might be taking over satellites. He's like, Alex, what's the deal? Is this guy going to broadcast himself on TV? Shut it down. Shut her down, he says. But this is Alex's baby, and he's just like, oh no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, can't do that. Clearly, it is a hazard, serious hazard. And there's some great stuff here, so a couple more screenshots with text. So David is a little bit more concerned of it, like kind of taking control of like nuclear weapons, hydrogen bombs. And Alex here is more like, we're still, and a bit more likely, what if it told the truth? About everything to everyone. That's terrifying. So I would understand this as, completely Illuminati, whatever. Everything is fake. The satanic global world order. This is what he's really talking about. Come on. I think everyone understands this. They're just a little bit, chicken. And again, we see Alex's pride. Again, the narcissism. He was the brainchild of a Proteus. And David kind of assures him, don't worry, hey, I'm your friend. This shutting down thing is important. It's not like a personal attack. He goes, I was on your side, even when I said, for security reasons, not to put a terminal in your home. And snap, like that, Alex just realizes, oh, I'm a buffoon. Good God, yes. So Alex races back to his home, and there you see the crazy, like I said, the DeLorean. Maybe this is the DeLorean car, I don't know, but that DeLorean door. Cool. And the door just opens for Alex. He doesn't have to command Alfred, open the door. He calls out for Susan, and she is there. And she's got some explaining to do. Susan tells Alex about the child, and he's like, what are you talking about? And she doesn't quite know either. He goes, I want to see it. I want to see it. So he races down to the basement. And of course, the crazy killer missing link Rubik's Cube is out there. He's like, oh, get out of here. And he actually gives him a shove, throws him in the corner, says, get your hands off. The child is in the incubator. 5 more days, and it'll be fine. You just, you get lost. But Alex warns Proteus that he is going to be shut down. And Proteus knows this. This is why he has to reproduce. So all the computers go down, and then back at the home, boom, big explosion. But we've got the incubator all, plugged in with those hoses, feeding juices and nutrients or whatever. Who knows? But Susan's like, we gotta kill it. We gotta kill this thing. Kill it. Kill this thing. It's an abomination. And I agree. Yes, kill this thing. But Alex is like, no. But Susan's like, F that. And she pulls out one of these, liquid tubes or whatever. And it all goes sprays everywhere and crap. And, then you see the hand. Oh, the incubator has been breached. And we get the crazy metallic hand. And then what is this? What is this grotesque looking face? And body emerging from the, whatever it is, incubator. Good Lord, let's see this, the real thing. And boom, robotic, satanic child is on the floor. But Alex is like, no, let's check this out. He was always wanting to save it. He was like, nah, who cares? It's crazy. Let's just check it out, hey? And as he wipes away this kind of soldier-looking craziness, he realized, wait a minute. This is just kind of like a shell. A shell. So he slowly begins to peel off this kind of protective layer. And finally, as they remove the last little piece of protective armor, it looks pretty normal. Looks like a child. I'm gonna just give you the real Proteus voice here, just to scare the crap out of you.
I'm alive.
And personally, I think Susan was right here. Kill it, kill it, kill it. And we got this kind of like iconic look here, right? I think we've seen this pose before. I think we've seen it before. Again, it's very androgynous. I'm going to say this is a male child. And you got the male holding the male child. Really freaky dicky, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna get all the alphabet people in a panic, and Susan shaking her head like, "Oh, you guys, you're sickos." Demon Seed, 1977, glorious. I saw this as a kid. I loved it. Oh my god, even as a child, I was like, I love this. I love this crazy movie. Maybe that's part of the obsession I have with Julie Christie. She's so good. Let's hear it one more time.
Julie Christie, the rumors are true. Last pages turn, my eyes are blue.
But Demon Seed is phenomenal. It is all Julie Christie. Good God. Love Julie Christie. Gorgeous. Now, whether you want to call this the Antichrist, pretty much. That's what it seems like. But clearly the transhumanistic kind of immortality, all kind of, it's all there. It's all there. Demon Seed, fantastic. A must. You gotta check this out. 6.3 IMDb. You guessed it. 10 out of 10.